Okay. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning everyone. Alright.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh,
Waalaikumsalam
teacher.
warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Teacher.
Okay. So before we start the class today, let
tak
us
dengar suara.
start. Ha?
Kalau tak dengar suara, tadi kenapa tak dengar suara?
Saya dengar.
Kita dengar je.
Saya
Ha.
dengar je. Dengar
Ini
tak
kan?
saya? Hello,
Ha.
testing,
Jelas
testing,
kan
1, 2,
dia?
3, 4.
Okay, okay, okay.
Dah, okay.
Heavenly
Okay, alright.
flame,
Ni,
sister.
mani. Alright, Zai. Okay. Alright, before we start our class today, let us recite doa before study. Can I have Akif Alihin to lead doa recitation?
Yes.
Where's Akif Alihin? Okay, recite doa.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Allahumma aftah alaina hikmataka wansur alaina min ghazaimi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin. Rabbi shrah li sadari wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Amin ya rabbal alamin. Amin.
Amin. Okay, thank you Akif Alihin. Alright, so how was your holiday? Are you good?
Best.
Best.
good.
Holiday, kita
5 days. 5 days no
Oh,
class.
teacher.
Saya main
Musnah
game
Syami.
je, je.
Alright, so let's continue. I hope you still remember our previous science process skills we have learned. Yes, Iman?
Aktiviti yang hari tu. Yang kapal terbang. Saya belum faham lagi.
Yes.
Saya belum faham lagi.
Oh, belum faham lagi? Oh, last time we just record your data in a table. We learn about communicating.
Macam mana nak buat.
You
Saya
don't
tak
know
tahu
how to?
macam mana nak lukis apa. Dia punya table ni macam mana.
You just draw a table, simple table. Later I show you how to draw a table, okay?
Okay.
Alright, so today we continue a new science process skill. Alright, so in previous class, we have covered from observing, classifying, measuring and using numbers, making inference, predicting, and last one, communicating. Before school break, we did experiment, and we did experiment, paper plane experiment. We want to investigate how length of stretch rubber affect distance traveled by a paper plane. Okay, so the aim of that investigation, that experiment, is for you to communicate, you record all the data. Okay, you communicate through from your result. You record your data into a suitable form, which is a suitable table, and later we discuss why is it the length at this length of stretch rubber at this length, and the distance travel this length, the distance. Okay, so that was our previous experiment. Today we continue on new science process skills. Okay. Don't disturb me, everyone. Don't disturb. Okay. Let me start the class. Okay. So what we will learn today is using space-time relationship, interpreting data, defining operationally, and controlling variables. There are 4 process skills we need to cover. We are going to cover today. Okay, let's get started with the first one, using space-time relationship. Apa benda ni? Okay, let's watch this video first.
Teacher, can I go take some?
Okay, sure. Wait. Sure. You can go toilet. This one, I need to.
Not toilet. Take something.
Hmm?
Take something.
Okay.
Teacher, can I take something?
What?
Can I take something?
Can.
Yeah, can I go to the toilet?
Alright. Okay, I'll change the setting first. Okay, that's about using space-time relationship. Okay. Alright, so space-time relationship describe changes in variables with time. Okay, variables controlling constant variable, manipulated variables, and responding variable with time. Okay, what are the changes that we can describe, such as shape and size, direction, location, volume, mass, as well as height. Okay, so you can describe the changes, these changes with time. Okay, let's look this example. What will happen to the height of the candle after 20 minutes? Okay, so you should answer the height of the candle will decrease. Okay, so from this example, what you can say, the height, what will happen to the height? Height is the variable, and after 20 minutes is time. So you need to describe, you need to tell what will happen after at this time, after this time 20 minutes. So to write down the answer, a full sentence for using space and time ni, okay?
Tu yang mana?
increase,
Time increase, the height of the candle
decrease.
decrease.
Yes. This is how to write in full sentence. As the time increase,
Ya, saya tak
the height
dengar.
of the candle decrease. Sorry?
Dia pakai buku yang mana?
Not buku Iman. Not yet. Later kan
Dia sama yang file lah.
Naufal, later I tell you which book you need to use. Okay? So listen first. Do not disturb me. Okay, again. So how to write a full sentence for using time and space relationship is as the time increase. Okay? So the height of the candle decrease. Alright. So that's how to write full sentence. Move to interpreting data. Interpret data. So interpret data is a process of selecting data collected about objects, events, or trends to make explanation. Okay, from the data collected, okay, you select data from data about objects or about the events or about the trends for you to make explanation, for you to explain later about that data. Okay. So let's look this one. This one related from the candle, candle. Okay, so this is time versus height of the candle in cm. Okay, time in minute. At 0, the height of the candle is 10 cm. Okay, after 5 minutes, it becomes 9. After 10 minutes, it becomes 8. And after 15 minutes, it becomes 7 cm. Okay, what can you say from this data? I want... Din Mikael. Long time no see. Okay, Din Mikael. What can you say from this data collected? As the time increase, what happened to the height of the candle? Din Mikael. Adelia. Okay, Syabil. Syabil want to try. Okay, Syabil. What happened? As the time increase, what happened to the height of the candle?
teacher?
Can you explain?
Apa teacher?
Okay, Din. Can you explain?
Ni.
Okay, this data, using space and time relationship. Okay, what happened? What happened to the height of the candle as the time increase?
Dengar.
Look at this example. Okay, what happened to the height of the candle as the time increase? I give the answer already. Din?
Me, I want to do
Tak dengar
chill.
suara teacher.
Tak dengar?
Teacher.
You cannot hear me?
I can hear,
Yes.
I can hear.
Teacher.
I want to.
Yeah, who call me? Slow ni bunyi dia. Yes. Yeah.
Can I do in the book?
Yes, you need science practical book later. Okay? Alright, so Faik. What is the answer, Faik? What is the answer?
The question. What?
What happened to the height of the candle as the
Huh?
time increase?
As the time furthers.
Increase.
As the time increase, okay, the candle will become shorter.
Very good. Yes. So the candle becomes shorter. So now I need the reason. Why is the height of the candle shorter, decrease after 15 minutes?
Because
Can I try
it is
Ahmad
burned.
Who want to try? I heard
Ahmad
someone
Nafal.
want to try.
I'll try Ahmad Nafal.
Okay, Ahmad Nafal, yes. Can you tell me why the height of the candle becomes shorter after 15 minutes?
It's because burning.
Because it's burning. So that's how to interpret this data. Alright? So you can say as the time increase, the height of the candle decrease. Okay, or become shorter. And if the question asks why, because it is burning. Okay, that's how you interpret data. Okay. Now, we move to define operationally. This one is quite hard. Okay, but I need you to listen carefully. How to define operationally. Okay. So, this is how to make a full sentence. Later, I will explain more. Okay. Science concept with parameter. Parameter is its characteristic. Characteristic related with the science concept. Okay. Is defined operationally by, okay, in the bracket tu, how can we measure it quantitatively? Okay, so in order for you to define operationally, you need to measure quantitative using numbers. That's why previously we learned measuring and using numbers. Okay, let's look at this example. Alright, so this is two magnets here, U-shape and bar magnet. Okay, the question asks, how to prove the strength of both magnets? Anyone have idea? How to prove the strength of both magnets? This is only the statement. So we need to prove. Before you can say this magnet is strong, you need something to prove. How? How to prove this magnet is strong? Let's say you want to say U-shaped magnet is strong compared to bar magnet. How to prove U-shaped magnet is strong compared to bar shape? Ni Ashraf? Ni Ashraf have idea? Ni Ashraf? Hello?
Hello, we're just thinking. I'm kind of confused too. I'm just trying to think.
Okay. Anyone have idea how to prove the strength of the magnet?
Me, I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try.
Okay.
I kind of have an idea.
I think
It's kind of weird.
I think you must compare it by like you put metal in front, right? And then you put the one, then let and then see which one gets pulled. I don't know.
Fai. Again, you say we put something in front of the magnet. Then
We put metal in front of the magnet,
okay,
and then we'll see if the magnet gets attracted to it.
okay. So the idea is you put something metal in front of the magnet, then let's see whether it can be attracted or not. Is it?
Yes.
Okay. So
Teacher, I want to try.
okay, yes. One more. How to try? What is your answer?
So you put like something metal, something heavy lah. Then you take the magnet, then you hang it. Which one which one can hold the longest is the strongest.
Which one can hold the longest is
No
the
lah.
strongest.
The
Okay,
biggest
so
lah.
alright.
The
Okay,
biggest.
good. Okay, let's see the answer.
Crap.
Yes.
Wrong.
You put, let's say you put metal object, any metal object, then
The number of
remember I said
That's just compared to its size.
yes. Back to this slide. Okay. How we can measure quantitatively? Okay. In order for you to prove the strength of this magnet, you need something that can be measured. How? We can say the numbers of nails it can attract. We can measure, is it, the number of nails?
I get it.
Yes,
That's
we
how
can.
to prove the strength of both magnets. Okay, so this is how to write full sentence. Later in your exercise or during UPSR, there's a lot of question asking about define operationally. Okay, remember, define operationally is science concept. The science concept here is strength of magnets. Okay, how we want to measure is,
Not quality.
how to prove is measure quantitatively the numbers of nails it can attract. So
Okay.
the full sentence is the strength of the magnets are the numbers of
Numbers
nails
of nails it can attract.
Yes, that's how to write the full
Right,
sentence
fine.
or defining operationally. Okay.
Then find the quantitatively.
So let's say later you while answering the question, so the question asks you to define operationally. Okay, look for the science concept. Let's say lah rusting, absorption or any science concept. Then you need to relate with how to measure quantitatively. Okay, how to measure rusting, how to measure how to show by measuring quantitatively. Quantitative means you measure using numbers. Okay, if you still not clear, let's look at another example. This one. Okay, here we have Norwex clothes. Your mom must know this one. Norwex clothes is microfiber clothes, and another example is sponge. Alright. So the question asks you how to prove which objects absorb the highest. How to tell people whether Norwex clothes or sponge absorb the highest?
Me.
Yes.
You-
Make sure you can measure quantitatively.
Quantitative.
Hmm.
Wait, tengah fikir. Quantitatively.
How to measure absorption quantitatively? How? Yes, anyone want to try? Siapa yang who raised hand just now?
Sure.
Yes, Shahan. Yes. Wait. Let Shahan answer first, or Shahan, or any question from Shahan?
No lah, me lah. Syahmi.
Shahmi. Okay,
Easy, I know
Shahmi.
how.
Shahmi want to try?
So this one,
You have to pick which one is the highest one can absorb the
Yes.
highest.
How you want to prove this object absorb water the highest? In order to prove, you need to prove it quantitative.
I think
you can measure. Okay, you said alright, Shami. You said sponge absorb water the highest. How you want to show people sponge absorb water the highest? That one is only statement. We need to prove. How to prove?
Because sponge can like if the water is pale, it can, if we put the sponge, the water will go inside the sponge.
The water,
right?
okay. The water go inside the sponge. Okay. So you got the idea, but we add some
me, I want to try.
Okay, alright.
I try.
Okay.
First you take both of the items and put it in a different section of water, like something watery, like, and then let them both get the water, and then you take like something for measuring the water.
Okay.
The lowest one is the
Teacher, I think Faiz is
Alright.
trying to say he
Okay.
put in 2 cups, each item in 1 cup. Then when
Yes.
they are absorbed, he wants to squeeze it into a measuring tube, the one that have the ml.
Okay, good. Shami, Faik, and Shabil. So,
English is good.
correct.
This
So,
one only now.
how to prove is the volume of water it can absorb. Shami said sponge, the water go to sponge. Okay, so Shabil and Faik said then that water you measure using measuring cylinder. That's how to prove this object can absorb water the highest. So, how to write in full sentence is absorption, the science concept here, absorption is the volume of water that object can absorb. Okay, so that's how to define absorption. Alright, to show them this object absorb highest, so you can measure from the volume of water it absorbs. Okay. So far, anything to ask about defining operationally? Understand?
Understand.
It's quite hard, but understand? Do you get the concept?
Understand.
Understand? So far understand, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
We move to another process skill, controlling variables. Okay. So this is familiar to you. Determining the responding variable, constant variable, and manipulated variable in an investigation. Okay, let's look together what is responding variable. Responding variable is something that respond to the changes you make. Okay, something that respond. For manipulated is variable that is changed throughout the investigation. So you can say that, let's say, previous example, magnet, okay, we have two different shapes. So the variable that we change is the shapes of the magnet. So it is manipulated. So you want to prove the strength of the magnet. How? By measuring at the number of nails it can attract. That is responding variable, something that respond to the changes you made. Okay. While the last one, constant variable that stay the same throughout the investigation. Okay. So all these variable must be in quantitative, not qualitative. Okay. Again, quantitative mean it involve numbers. Alright. So you cannot say for this one lah. Usually constant variable ni students always make mistake. They state colors of the object or texture of the object. No, you need something that can be measured, but you maintain the same amount throughout investigation. For example, you say you use the same volume of water. You use the same volume of beaker or you use the same size of measuring cylinder. That is how to state the variable for constant variable quantitatively. Okay. Let's look at this example. Alright, dissolving of sugar in water. This is simplest experiment. You do it every day in your house. You do when you make coffee, when you make tea, or you make a Milo. Okay, we dissolve sugar in water every day. Alright, so first, before you can state all the variables, you need to define operationally. Okay, so dissolving of sugar in water, how to define it operationally, or in other words, how to measure the sugar dissolve is time taken ni. Time taken for the sugar to dissolve completely. We can measure the time, to prove. Okay, so this one dissolve already sugar. Alright, so in full sentence, dissolving of sugar is the time taken for the sugar to dissolve completely in water. Alright, so let's look responding variable. Responding variable is from here. Okay, from define operationally ni, you put or you state responding variable. So this one time taken lah. Time taken for the sugar to dissolve completely. Okay, this one time is respond to the changes you made after this. Okay, for manipulated is types of water. Types of water. Previously I said, just now I said you cannot use qualitative. Types of water should be cannot lah. Okay, supposedly cannot be used. But this one, types of water, warm or cold ni, we measure using thermometer. Okay, for warm and cold, it's different. Alright, so we still it relate with numbers. It involve numbers. Okay, so type of water, whether warm or cold, and constant variable. So the variable that stay the same throughout the investigation is volume of water. You use the same volume of water. It just what is the changes you made is you use different types of water, whether warm or cold, and the thing that respond to the changes you made is the time taken for the sugar to completely dissolve. That's how to controlling variables. How? Senyum-senyum semua orang. So how do you think? Can you understand? From define
Yes.
to controlling variable, it relate with
Yes.
each other. Understand everyone?
Understand.
Seriously understand?
Yes.
Okay. So I repeat again.
Just a little bit.
Okay. Our topic today, we covered from using space, time, relationship. Okay. So sorry. Okay, this one. Using space-time relationship. What is space-time relationship? You describe the changes. Okay, you describe the changes in variables with time. Yes. Okay. So what are the changes that you can describe? For example, shape, size, direction, location, volume, mass, and height. Okay, that is example, okay, to describe the changes in variable. Alright, so move to interpreting data. You select data collected about objects, events, or trends. Trends tu maksudnya perubahan, okay, to make explanation. Let's say the question asks you from this one, from your data collected, time versus height of the candle. So you can say as the time increase, using space and time relationship though, as the time increase, the height of the candle decrease. Okay, so you can see the trend decrease. Why? The height of the candle becomes shorter because it's burning.
Teacher, I'm gonna come back for a while, teacher. I need to do something.
Okay. Next, we move to define operationally. How to define operationally? Science concept. You need science concept. Okay. Is defined operationally by how can we measure it quantitatively. For example, strength of of the magnet. You can measure the strength by the numbers of nears it can attract. In full sentence, you can write down the strength of the magnets are the numbers of nears it can attract. That's how to write define operationally. The design concept here is the strength of the magnet. Okay, this one absorption. You can say the volume of water it can absorb. Okay, so in full sentence, absorption is the volume of water that object can absorb. Okay, move to controlling variables. Before you can control variable, you need to define define operationally. You cannot just making statement. Let's say you say this car is the fastest, move fastest. How to prove? So you need define operationally. Then only you can control all the variables from the responding, manipulated, and constant. Make sure all these variables quantitatively. You can measure using numbers. So this is the example. You want to show sugar dissolve. Okay. So we can say, we can measure it from time taken for the sugar to dissolve completely in water. And later we can state all the variables involved. RV, responding variable, time taken for the sugar to completely dissolve. Manipulated types of water, warm or cold. And last one is control variable, volume of water. You maintain the same volume of water throughout the experiment. Okay, so that's all our last